Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Wilmac Wire. The theme of today's episode is brand and culture, two things that I hold very near and dear to my heart in the realm of marketing, and that I get the joy of working on day to day. Steve, my co-host and Wilmac's president and CEO, when he acquired the company in 2022, he put a very conscious effort on culture, on building culture. And that is why we've been honored to be recognized as one of the best companies to work for in New York and America's best workplaces multiple times now over the past few years. And in today's conversation with our guest, she hits a lot on brand and culture. She's an honest, philanthropic, people-oriented leader, and what you'll be able to tell as you listen to today's episode is that she's an incredible storyteller. Lauren Dixon, the founder and board chair of Dixon Schwabel. In today's episode, you can expect a lot of great leadership lessons and advice from Lauren. You can expect to hear about what leading Dixon Schwabel looks like, what founding it looked like, and the experiences that she went through to get there. We also discuss what being a great place to work means and how you can actually execute building a great culture. And we also talked about her impact on the Rochester, the local community, in terms of giving back, like being on 11 different boards. It was an absolute pleasure speaking to Lauren in person at RockFox Studios. I hope you all enjoy this episode as much as I did. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy. Welcome to the Wilmac Wire. I'm Emily Miller, joined by my co-host, Steve McDonnell. On this show, we talk with the drivers, the leaders, innovators, and decision makers pushing customer interaction technology and AI forward. And because we're proud to call Western New York home, we also spotlight the drivers in our own community, the people and organizations shaping growth and innovation right here. Let's get into it. Coming in from Canandaigua, New York, founder and board chair of nationally recognized woman-owned marketing agency Dixon Schwabel, where she served as CEO for over 30 years, architect of a majority woman-led team and a culture recognized by Great Place to Work for 15 consecutive years, named the #1 small company to work for in America in 2008. In 2010, a deeply committed philanthropic leader raising over $1 million for local charities through initiatives like Horses on Parade, known across Rochester as a mentor, community champion, and business leader, and by her own admission, her favorite title of all, grandmother. Welcome to the Wilmac Wire, Lauren Dixon.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh my gosh, it's lovely to be with you in person at RockFox Studios in Pittsford with Steve and I. So thanks for coming in, Lauren. We appreciate it and braving this cold weather. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're going to start things off with a really quick icebreaker called This or That. I'll ask you 3 questions, and then we'll just kind of have a fun little chat for you to get to know for our audience to get to know you better. So first one, on the lake or in the city?
On the lake.
Yeah, okay. I kind of figured that.
No doubt.
From Canandaigua. Yeah, so let me ask, like, being from around there in the winter, like, do you still find it beautiful and like peaceful in the Finger Lakes region?
Absolutely awesome. Because every single season you look out at the lake and you have a different view.
Yeah.
So right now we can see north and south of the lake. When the fall, you can't do that because it's just loaded with leaves, beautiful leaves.
Yeah.
I love every single season.
Yeah. I know we talk often in here about like the value of the Finger Lakes region and how beautiful it is. It's like a wonderful part of Rochester.
Did you live in Canandaigua
when
you were CEO of Dixon too?
Yes. I grew up in Canandaigua.
Okay.
In Cheshire. You know where that is? Yeah. Little teeny tiny hamlet.
So how you have a beautiful office down the street from here.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Beautiful building.
Thank you.
How was that going back and forth?
Oh, it's only 25 minutes.
Oh, yeah. So not bad at all.
Bad.
Yeah. I know. I think people think it's
especially because you're on the Victor side. You're on the side too.
Right.
But it's not a big deal at all. And I go the back way a lot.
Okay.
And I probably have a heavy foot.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, next one's a little bit more marketing channel related, but LinkedIn or Instagram?
LinkedIn.
Yeah. We love LinkedIn over here.
We're big LinkedIn people.
We're big LinkedIn people. I had to put a marketing type 1 in there. Okay, and then last one, hosting a gathering or attending an event?
hosting a gathering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Well, obviously you had such a beautiful office at Dixon Schwabel and Victor. I remember I was telling you when we first came in, I shadowed Mallory Benjamin at Dixon Schwabel my senior year of college, and I remember walking in and everyone was like, yeah, there's a slide. And I walked in and I was like, no way, there's a slide. And then the prints everywhere. It's just wonderful.
Well, you know how that happened? When we had an office building right down the street, and during a really bad snowstorm, we were on the top floor and the roof collapsed.
Oh my gosh.
We lost everything, including our popcorn popper. I mean, the entire office was wiped out. And so I met with my accountant and he said, how big do you need your office to be? And I said, between 20 and 30,000 square feet, because we're growing. Yeah. And so he said, you need to build an office building. And that was like the furthest thing from my brain. Yeah. And so we did. And when we built the building, my husband Mike and I brought all of our team members in and said, this is your home. We want to have the craziest, funkiest, wildest, coolest office in Rochester. I don't know what that looks like. You're the creative ones. Yeah. You're going to have 72 hours to come back, and any wild idea will be considered. Yeah. And the way it will work is we'll write down all of the ideas, and then we're going to power vote. Each person will get 10 little round dots. Yeah. If you like one particular idea, a lot, then put 10 stickers on it. Right. Otherwise, disperse your stickers. And the way we decided which were in and which were out, the greatest number of dots was the first thing we'd implement. Be careful what you ask for, right? That's how we ended up with the slide. Yeah. That came in number one. Number two came in temperature controls in every office. Okay. Koi pond, fireplaces. Oh, my goodness. We had a padded primal scream room. We no longer have that because we had to turn it into an office because we were running out of space. But all the crazy ideas came from our people.
Was there any crazy ideas that didn't make the cut? Or were too crazy for you guys to implement?
No, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. We were able to implement every single ideas. Oh my gosh. And we were $200,000 under budget. Wow. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's amazing, actually.
Yeah. But it was interesting because we had a waterfall as an example. And when I started researching waterfalls, the waterfall that I was looking at came in at $125,000. Well, our art director went online and he found a company that did trade shows. And he called the company and he said, I just saw that you were in Las Vegas and I saw this waterfall. Can I buy it? And
that's how you got it?
That's how they sold it for $8,500.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, they really used their ingenuity and creativity to
What did the contractors say when you brought them? We want a slide in the building.
It wasn't the contractor, it was the architect. Okay. And so when we were meeting with the architect, who was lovely, David Hamlin, just the nicest, kindest man on the face of the planet, I said, David, I would like a slide. In fact, I would like a slide that would go all the way down all 4 floors of our building. Yeah. He thought I was joking. And so when the first plan came back, I looked at him, I said, where's the slide? Ha, 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 ha. And he's very dry, sense of humor. Yeah. And the second drawing came back. No slide. I finally looked at the contractor. I said, would you tell him I'm serious? I want the slide. Yeah. And so he came back. Oh my gosh. Couldn't get one for all 4 floors because the velocity in which one would be speeding down would shoot you out the front door. Yeah. So,
oh my gosh. Yeah. That's an awesome. What a great stories I can imagine you have around that building. But okay, we're going to get right into things and start with kind of your career journey. So you started Dixon Schwabel in the late 80s. What prompted you at first to even start that business? And then what did those early days look like for you?
Scary. No. Yeah. I started my career 10 years before that. Okay. And my degree is in journalism. My minor is in French, Spanish, Italian, and German. And I first went into television in journalism. I was on Channel 13 for 10 years. Yeah. First in news and then PM Magazine. And I loved every minute of it. But I wanted to start my family. And a good mom can't work 70 to 80 hours a week and be a good mom.
Yep.
Right.
And so I decided then that I would go into advertising sales. Why? Because advertising sales in television is really very similar to journalism. It's storytelling.
Yeah.
So in journalism, you have to tell both sides of the story. In sales, it's more of a persuasive storytelling. And so I did that for a few years, became the sales manager. And then I remember sharing with my dad, I wonder if I should start an advertising agency, but I'm too scared because I don't know if I have what it takes. I've never taken a business course, still haven't taken a business course. And he said, Lauren, all you have to do is two things. You have to hire people smarter than you, and you have to motivate and excite them to want to come to work every day. That's it. And so I thought about it, and that's when I did it. Yeah. I took a leap of faith, and
great advice.
It was great advice.
Wise guy.
Very wise guy. He owned a trucking company. He never went to college, and so I did it. And I will tell you, it was a bit scary because as the owner of a company, and I was kind of a baby manager. I was only 30 years old. I thought I had to have all the answers and all the big ideas. Yeah. And it took me about 4 or 5 years to realize that I wasn't doing anybody any favors by only having the big ideas. So I began listening more and empowering people to do the right thing and come up with big ideas. And it was really interesting to watch because that's how our culture began to form, because people were feeling great that their ideas were being implemented and taken seriously. And as time went on, the first thing that I implemented into our hiring process was any big idea you have, come tell me about it. Yeah. We'll decide within 48 hours if we can implement it or if we can't based on our strategic plan for the year. And it has worked beautifully. And people own it. People feel like their input matters and that they make a difference every single day.
Right. Yeah, we talked about this, the Myers-Briggs yesterday. I remember when I shadowed, like on each person's nameplate was their Myers-Briggs personality too. I loved that. When did you start incorporating that?
So about almost 28 years ago, I went to New York and became a certified Myers-Briggs interpreter because I was really fascinated by what it could do and really help build culture because I'm not that smart. I really needed some help. And so I really wanted to find a tool that would help us do that. And it was really funny because there were 3 of us who went and we busted in the door and there were 40 people in the room and we sat in the back and everybody had to introduce themselves and why they were there and what they did for a living. And so it started doctor this and doctor that, and I'm a doctor of psychology, and then they get to us, marketing person. So it has helped us immensely. And we do a program every year called Companies Are People Too. It's based on Myers-Briggs. And it allows all of us within the company to fully understand everybody's personality type. And then part 2 of that tool is what is the company's personality type? So you answer the questions as if Dixon Schwabel were a person. And it's fascinating because everybody gets who we are, what we stand for, and not how we should behave, but really more about values-based. What are our values? What will be tolerated and what will not? And I remember the very first time, one of our values is integrity and respect. And I remember one of our clients was a little naughty. And she was disrespectful to one of our team members. And when the team member told me, I said, well, that's it. He said, what do you mean that's it? I said, we're resigning the business. No one. I don't care who it is, whether it's a vendor or a client. Even an employee they can't disrespect anybody who works here because we're a great place to work. And we're going to hold true by that. And I just remember coming back from that meeting and telling the team, you could see the weight of the world just drain from them.
Yeah.
And because how credible would we be if we tolerated that? Right?
Yeah.
If you're not true to your values.
Yeah.
So we agree culture is absolutely the most important thing that we are trying to do at Wilmac too. And we know a lot of people at Dixon, and we've been in groups with people at Dixon, and it's amazing the culture that you guys have cultivated, and hearing kind of the background story, where it came from. So I think that's great. The other item I wanted to ask you about, so when I first acquired the company, I always thought the same thing as you. I got to come up with strategy. I got to come up with the big ideas. It's scary sometimes hiring people that you're like, oh, that person's definitely smarter than me. Do I really want to do this? But to get over that hump and be like, no, everyone needs to be smarter than me.
Right.
And I think that's such great advice for anyone in executive positions. And it seems like you learned that early on, and you've been able to execute it continuously, but it is tough.
Yeah, it's scary at the beginning. But once you do it, it's so liberating, and just you feel the weight of the world off your shoulders. The shared responsibility is something that I just truly value and appreciate within our organization.
Right. Yeah, I definitely want to hit on culture a little bit more, but so as the agency though has grown and evolved, like how has your role changed alongside of it?
More of my focus today. I tried to retire, and it didn't suit me very well. I did it for 91 days, but I don't work the hours that I used to work. I work probably 25 hours a week. But my responsibility now is more on the financial end and new business focused and more serving on not-for-profits and just continuing to connect our people with the community. It's really important to me. I've been a huge believer in if you have a successful business, it's your responsibility to give back, to make our community a better place.
Right.
So those 91 days were tough.
They were terrible. Thank goodness. Thanksgiving and Christmas were factored into that because I was a little bit busier than normal.
Oh my gosh. That is too funny. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so obviously you're a female leader. You've been a female leader now. When you first came right out of college, you stepped into that role and kind of forged your own path, and then you were like, all right, I'm going to build my own agency. So what was it like leading an agency as a female, especially early on when advertising was definitely more male dominated? What was that like?
Well, we were 90% female, 10% male, and we were known in Rochester, are you ready for this, as the chick agency. Seriously, that's what they called us.
And that was okay back then.
And you know what? I'm like, bring it on. I considered it a lovely thing.
Yeah.
And we were different, right? And it worked for us in many cases. And sometimes it worked against us, but that's true pretty much in anything,
right?
And so we really embraced it, and I was really lucky to find the really, really smart women that I found in the early days.
Yeah.
In the early days, were most of your customers in Rochester and Western New York, or were you spreading yourself down to Manhattan and Boston and those places then?
At the very beginning, the vast majority of our business was in Buffalo.
Okay.
And we were focusing on automotive because that was the number one television category. And so we had automotive concerns, a lot of them, in Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Albany, and in Cincinnati. And we did that for probably, I want to say 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
And then we decided to branch out, and then we added to our employee base and got Xerox and Kodak business. So we tried to do different things at different times. And right now, our clients are all over the world.
Right.
And so one of our longest standing clients, we got 28 years ago, Frontier. When we got that client, they acquired 11 other telephone companies around the country. So we expanded with them. And they're still our client today. Really proud of it.
How was So were you working with Xerox and Kodak like in the 80s and
Yes.
90s? How was it back then with those guys?
It was interesting. I really loved it. One of the challenges from a business perspective is the VP of marketing for a particular product line, their tenure was about 18 months.
Oh,
And then they were promoted. And then a new person came
you have
in.
to build a new relationship.
Yeah.
And candidly, their payment schedule was long and drawn out.
Yeah. All those big companies.
Yeah. And, with a small company, that's really difficult. And so then we moved on and we got other business categories.
Yeah, one of our products we sell into large enterprises, mostly big banks, so like Wells Fargo, UBS. And it's always a battle, the payments.
Yeah.
And they don't quite understand. And what are we going to argue with them?
Right.
But it's a small business battle.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
definitely a small business battle. So let me ask, so obviously that 30 years, did you feel like your leadership philosophy, the way you approached it, changed as the industry evolved, kind of as the company evolved? Did you feel like that changed?
Two things. I think my philosophy and the way I ran the business did not change. Right. What did change was that 10%.
Yeah.
Because we added different products and services from, integrated marketing to advanced analytics. And so we had to look for different brains outside the regular marketing world.
Right.
And we added a whole lot of introverts, let me tell you.
Which you guys were probably not at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, no. We're an incredibly extroverted company.
Yeah. A lot of ease. Ease. Oh my gosh, that's too funny. So we've talked about it and Tia mentioned it, like Dixon Schwabel has been recognized as a great place to work. You already alluded to the fact that was a very conscious decision when you started the organization. What did that look like day to day to keep building it as a great place to work?
Well, it's so funny because I got a phone call one day from Danny Wegman, and he said, Lauren, I think your company should apply for the Great Place to Work.
Yeah.
Because they just opened it up for small and medium companies. This was in 2005. And I said, oh, Danny, we're not ready to do that. I've got work to do. Yeah. And he said, no. It's not about getting on the list. It's about getting the data. That is a gold mine because then you'll understand what you're doing really, really well and you'll want to continue, but you'll also understand what you need to improve. And then he gave me such a good piece of advice and he said, only pick 3 things to improve because if you pick 10 things, nothing will improve. And so we did that from that day forward. So we got on the list the very first year. I couldn't believe it, the top 100 list. And then in 2008 and 10, we were ranked number 1, which
That's awesome.
Speechless, honestly, because there are so many incredible companies.
Right.
And I love going to the conferences because I pick their brains about, tell me the 3 things that you did right this year and tell me the 3 misses. Yeah. Because I don't want to do those.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I have a 2-part question kind of going to that. And you were talking about it was 90-10, and then you've had to bring in different types of people for different new business lines. What is your recruiting philosophy, number 1? And number 2, do you guys recruit locally a lot through the colleges, or do you, I'm sure now it's all over the place, but for the past, was it mostly trying to get Rochester, Western New York people?
Before COVID, yes. Yeah. We tried to recruit locally in upstate New York. Yeah. We have recruited from New York City for some of our creative folks, but by and large, and our HR person recruits everybody. And I get to interview people, but I don't get to make the decision anymore because honestly, I'm not good at it. You would think with my background, I'm disappointed in myself. But when I was doing it, I will tell you I didn't do a good job. And but I do get to interview them. And my favorite question is, what do you do at night and on the weekend? Because what I want to know is, are these people community minded or not?
Right.
And if they say, I hang out at the mall and I play video games, I don't get to check that box, right?
Yeah.
So I ask a lot about values questions that are really important.
Yeah.
And so I would almost rather hire for values than talent, because I believe you can teach anybody anything, right? As long as your values are in line. I'm a big believer in that.
Will you guys do for positions like a Myers-Briggs test on people or any types of testing?
Yeah.
Well, I used to do that until I learned
Oh, it's a no-go?
it's a no in the HR world.
Oh, yeah, no,
We don't do it.
We don't do it.
Don't get us in trouble.
I'll just clarify. But we do, like, we focus on core values too. We use EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System. And a big part of that is like, all right, your core values should be the first thing that you think about after that conversation with that person. So yeah, I like that.
But recruiting is, I mean, I think it's one of the most important things. And it's one of the most difficult things.
It is difficult.
Yeah.
It absolutely, because there are individuals who show up and who are master interviewees, right?
Oh,
and then when they walk in your front door, like,
it's completely different.
Where'd that person go?
Yeah.
100%.
Right. Let me ask, so you talked about like the three things. Like, do you have one that comes top of mind that you're like, yeah, this was a really good thing that we did? I know this is putting you on the spot, so it's okay if you don't want to answer it. But was there anything that like comes to mind that you're like, oh yeah, that was a really good culture-based effort that we put in that paid off?
Oh dear.
The slide.
Do you mean activities that we've implemented?
Yes, or like just a conscious decision that you made that you're like, okay, this is just investing in our culture and something that we want to make clear to our employees or implement. Like when we moved offices, like the physical location of our office has played a huge part in our culture, I think, personally.
Yes,
Yeah, like that.
But to what Lauren just said, probably what you did with your office was pretty
pretty big.
Yeah,
that's true.
And it infuses an energy. And the way I know that is when we do a new business pitch and we bring a potential new client in, and then we get the business, I always ask them why.
Yeah.
And invariably they say one of three things. Your office is unbelievably great, and the energy is something that I want to be associated with, or I can tell your people really care about my business. So I think that was a big thing. But there are other things that we've done. We have given for many, many years, year-end bonuses. And one year we told everybody we were taking them to Las Vegas for the weekend. So we do impromptu things like that. If something great has happened, when we won the Kennedy Space Center business, Mike and I dressed up as astronauts to do the launch. And it's just those surprise elements that you have to think about every single day. And so when I drive to work in the morning, I ask myself, how am I going to make Dixon Schwabel irresistibly attractive to my team? And then at the end, when I'm driving back to Canandaigua, I rate myself on a scale from 1 to 10. Now, some days, I think I'm a 10. Other days, I'm probably a -5. But it's got to be top of mind all the time. We just hired a new director of first impressions, and I said, you have carte blanche. The last director of first impressions, she decided that regular water for our guests wasn't enough. So every day she would go to Wegmans and get either oranges, limes, lemons, raspberries, and she would offer our clients either raspberry water or lemon water or because it's an experience. And as you leave our office, there's a bell on the wall. And there's a sign that says, if you've had an awesome experience, ring the bell. And it's really cool when the bell rings and you can hear like, woohoo, from all the offices. But it's just constant. And, I think some people think, well, if you built a good culture and you're on the list, it's done. You're over. It could be furthest from the truth. And maybe there are some industries that you can take kind of a back seat to. But in our business, everybody loves change. They thrive on change. And so if we're not changing things up constantly, it doesn't help creating a great culture.
Yeah, I feel like in your industry, you guys it's the ultimate sales pitch, because you're basically, your clients are looking at you as not software, not a vendor. Like, we are business partners, and we are trusting that you're going to understand our business and really help us take it to the next level. So you're pitching a really partnership. Was that difficult? And then when you're scaling, do you have to be careful not to take on too many customers, or make sure your values align with the customers when you're bringing them on?
That was one of the biggest lessons I think I learned, was when you're pitching a client, to take a step back and make certain that their values are aligned with yours, because you know what? It will come out. It will come out. And then it will make your life miserable, and then you'll have to make other harder decisions. So, that's a very important thing, I think. And I don't know that a lot of businesses do that. They want increased revenues at whatever cost, and then they'll figure it out later. And as time has gone on, that's another big lesson that I learned. It took me some time, but over those years, we had to resign 5 pieces of business, and I mentioned the one about respect.
Right.
4 of them were because of respect, being disrespectful to my team. The 5th one was integrity. The CEO of the company, huge company in New York City, one of our biggest clients, asked me to phony the invoices to inflate them. And I said, absolutely not. And he said, oh, grow up, Lauren. That's what he said to me.
Oh,
and he said, everybody does it. And I said, no, not everybody. We don't do that. So, but again, you have to make business decisions that are right for your company at that moment in time, and not be afraid to make tough decisions.
Right.
When you were starting out, or even when you guys were rocking and rolling, were you more behind the scenes creative, or were you out in the front with the people pitching and we need to go try to get this business? I'm sure at the beginning you had to kind of do everything, but as it went on, where do you like to be?
So my husband was the creative director, but I was in charge of all of the account teams, public relations teams, social, and business office and PR.
So you were out chasing.
Yes, I was chasing. And I love that. The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat.
Oh my gosh.
And that, I'm sure today you still have a team. Right? That's
Oh, yeah. We have a large new business team. 3 of our 4 children are in our business. And
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Connor is in charge of new business.
Nice.
Which is great.
Oh, so that's great. You get to work with your kids.
It's so fun. I just remember when they first started at the office, and they all started at different times. They, at 11:45, they would come up to my office, Mom, you want to go to lunch? I'm like, this is the best thing ever. And then my husband took me down a peg or two, and he goes, because you're going to pay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Just being like, oh, that's so nice. They want to spend time with me. Oh, too funny. Okay, kind of taking the conversation more local, Rochester, focusing on that. So you've built a really strong network, very strong presence in the Rochester business and nonprofit community. How did you build that, and why was it important to you?
I think I did it because it's always been in my heart. My dad was a big believer in giving back. And what you could, whether it's money or time or knowledge. And so I have a lot of interests, and I've been lucky enough to have boards call me that I'm interested in and ask if I would serve on their board. So I think I serve on 11 boards right now.
I was going to say, I remember looking at them before and being like, that's a lot. That's a long list.
And,
very impressive list.
And it's fun. It really is fun being part of it. And I don't serve on boards that are at night. I only serve on boards where breakfast or lunch is involved. No, because otherwise takes away from business time.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And you can do both effectively and prudently.
Yeah.
And so I've only served on boards during those 2 time frames.
Yeah.
I was going to ask. So you're on 11 now.
Mm-hmm.
When you were working heavy hours, were you still on a ton of boards?
Yeah. Not 11. When I was working, I actually was on 9.
Okay. That's
So I thought, honestly, when I quasi-retired, that I would go off a couple.
Yeah.
But it gives me purpose.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I would pick which ones I would go off.
Yeah.
But I did add 2 more boards.
Yeah.
And they're fascinating.
Yeah, I was about to say, so did they approach you, or were you like, okay, I'm aware of this organization and I'd love to, I feel passionate about it, I'd love to serve?
I think I was always asked if I would consider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Are there any interesting boards, like outside of the general business or nonprofit, that you're on?
So, yeah. So, I serve on the New York Attorney Grievance Board. And so, for example, when an attorney does something naughty or questionable, a client can file a grievance, and then it is investigated by the board.
So interesting.
The board doesn't make...
But you guys get to do the investigation?
We get to hear the case and determine whether it's frivolous or that it should go to court.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And so that's been fascinating.
That is. How did you get involved in that?
A judge called me one day who I met at a cocktail party, and he knows my fascination with the law. And when I was at Channel 13, the mob was alive and well.
Oh, wow.
And so he learned about my fascination with the mob.
Makes sense.
And so he thought maybe I would make a good candidate. But my biggest question, there are 15 members to this board.
Yeah.
And 3 of them are not attorneys. The rest are attorneys. And my biggest question was, why would you want somebody like me? And he said, I want to know what the public relations
the public
perception would be based on the case.
Yeah.
Which has been fascinating to me. It really has been. And I've learned a lot.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
I'm on the Thompson Health Board and Golisano Children's Board. Well, I knew very little about the medical industry. And it's just fascinating. And what you learn helps you later in other things. Yeah. So I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And so obviously you and Steve served together on the Greater Rochester Chamber of Commerce Board. So what has that experience been like? And you both can speak to that.
I'm pretty new. I can't do well.
I've been to a couple meetings now.
A few.
Yeah.
Our community is about to explode in terms of so many positive things happening. And I think under the leadership of Bob Duffy and others in our community, I feel like the time is right. And our community wasn't always collaborative. And it wasn't that long ago where they were at odds. But now I feel everybody is singing from the same song sheet and are collaborative and want to make this community get better and better and better. And I've not felt that before.
Right.
But the leadership is in place to make it happen. I'm confident of that.
Yeah, that's exciting. So I have talked about this a few times, but I grew up in Fairport, and then I moved away. I only moved back for my majority of my adult life, so I came back 4 years ago. And my opinion, I lived in Manhattan and Boston during that time, and I came back, and my opinion was always Rochester has so much potential. They can't seem to get out of their own way. The economy should be way better. There should be more businesses, yada, yada, yada. And as I've gotten into it, you can see that things are getting a lot better. And it is very collaborative. I mean, the board's great. Even outside the board, everyone seems to try to help each other. Downtown, which we decided to stay, and we've enjoyed it. And there's a little community down there that's now growing, which I really appreciate. And again, I think it has so much potential with it being a great city, being right on the Finger Lakes in Lake Ontario, and having great universities.
Yeah.
And one of the, we had the dean of the RIT Saunders Business School on.
Yeah.
And one of the things they're trying to figure it out is how can we keep all these kids in Rochester?
Yeah.
And they're all bolting off to the big cities.
Right.
We need more companies to really
keep them
start
here.
developing and keep them here because it's a great community.
Absolutely. Prior to COVID, we had a lot of interns. We had about 20 to 22 interns every quarter. And we would get them from RIT, U of R, a lot from St. John Fisher. And prior to COVID, 33% of our team were former college interns.
Oh, that's impressive.
Which is awesome. But then COVID happened.
COVID happened.
And we were not able to offer the internships. We're just now starting to bring them back because I truly believe you need to be in person to try to have a wonderful experience. It can't happen online. Just can't.
Especially for those positions, the intern, entry level, they're just missing out on so much.
The business acumen,
Oh,
the water cooler talk, the walking down the hallway talk,
Right.
bumping into somebody's office and say, hey, do you have a minute? All that is gone.
Right. Being able to walk into someone's office and have a conversation versus a Teams chat, you know.
And I think a lot of businesses that maybe had more executive level or experienced people were able to adapt better. And those people can be flexible and it's good for their lifestyles and stuff. But I do feel bad for some of the younger generations that they're missing out on it. And then they're missing out on the steps that they should be taking to get to where they need to be in their career.
And also the mental health component. During COVID, that was the thing that kept me up at night. And so we had implemented several things whereby our management team would reach out and call every single person within our company every single week. So we took our population of 120 and divvied them up and just picked up the phone and say, hey, what's going on?
You doing okay?
What can we do for you? And I'll never forget, I called a young man and he said, Lauren, I really miss my computer because he had one of those wavy keyboards. And I said, well, I'll go get it for you. He goes, what? And he said, well, if you're going to get my computer, can I have a printer? Because his job was, it was necessary for his job. I'm like, of course. So I jumped in my car, ran to Rochester, got the wavy computer or wavy keyboard, a bunch of paper, and went to his house. And the look on his face was so hysterical. And he said, I can't believe you did that. But letting people know that you genuinely, truly care about their well-being. But now we're back 2 days a week. I really want to come back 3 days a week.
So we don't put any, well, we have, I guess, one rule. Wednesdays. But that was only implemented in mostly, we have offices in Manhattan and Toronto. It was mostly implemented for those. Because those people really weren't coming in. Rochester has been pretty good at least 4 days a week. I think most of our people come in. Now, they don't have to stay all day and there's no stern rule. But I think one of the things we did with our office space, we made it wide open. So everyone likes the collaborative approach. And I think they like being in the office during those hours. You can go out to lunch quick. There's all go to Starbucks together, all that stuff, like you said, that you're missing when you're just sitting at home.
It's energizing.
Exactly.
It is. And I think one thing that I've caught throughout kind of your conversation here is just like you're practicing what you're preaching and like you're living out the core values and that just translates to the rest of the organization. It really is like top down. And I respect that so much.
Thank you.
I always think that like if I want my team to do something, like I need to set the example, you know, which is just wonderful. So okay, so I have last question for you before we wrap up. When you think about your leadership journey, the community that you've been involved in, like what do you want people to remember and think about you when they hear about you?
It's a good question. I think for the community that I did the right thing. That I gave back. And I think for my people, I hope what they remember about both my leadership style and my husband Mike's is that we wanted every day, all day to be an amazing experience for them.
Yeah.
Because if you're at work 8 hours a week, 8 hours a day, that's a third of your life.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want a third of your life to be miserable? And so I hope that they think that we created an environment that was healthy and it was happy and that they loved their job.
Right. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Very simple.
Great.
Yeah, we talked about that with the new office to be like, we spend a lot of time with here and with each other.
better
The minimum we should do is enjoy it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. That's wonderful.
We don't have a slide, but we have a basketball hoop.
We do. We have
Okay.
a mini hoop. Well, that
Mini
actually
hoop.
one of our
That gets
co-ops.
used quite a bit.
Oh, really?
But it gets used quite a bit.
It is used quite a bit. Yeah. And that brings in puzzles every so often. So.
I have a question.
Okay.
Business related.
Okay.
So you guys, I looked kind of at your past and obviously known you guys. When you really started scaling, did you do that consciously, or was it like, oh man, this is unbelievable? We're growing at this rapid rate.
We did. And we were 10 years old. And I think every major milestone, you take a step back and you think, what if? Because we started out, we only wanted to be a boutique agency. Yeah. And at that 10-year mark, a few things happened. We won the Frontier business. Our roof collapsed. And Horses on Parade was born. And that was pivotal for us because it gave us a very high profile and it allowed us, we created another company, a community arts project company alongside Dixon Schwabel. And so we grew that business pretty quickly. Yeah. We did Apples on Parade in Alexandria, Virginia, Elk on Parade in Elk Grove. Lighthouses on Parade in Portland, Maine. We did golf balls for the PGA. We did all sorts of things. Yeah. But that moment in time was really pivotal. And that same year, we built our office building. Yeah. So all these things happened simultaneously. And because of the higher profile we had in our community, the more opportunity we had to pitch business. Yeah. And I go back to what I started talking about earlier, which is why do businesses select Dixon Schwabel? And they always say the same thing. And one of those three things is because you give back to the community. And that's really important to people. Yeah. And we didn't give back to the community for that reason. That's kind of like a side benefit. Yeah. But and I didn't know that would be the case, but it is. Yeah.
Very cool.
Great.
All right. Before we wrap up, Lauren, are there any initiatives or programs that you're working on with your boards or at Dixon Schwabel that you'd like to share about with our listeners?
Oh my, we're always trying to do different things. Yeah. And we're launching some new products and services. Yeah. And I just keep growing the business. Yeah. One of the unique things that has happened this year is because of AI, it's kind of changed and rocked our world. Yeah. And it has for a lot of companies. But what it has created is immense opportunities to grow the business. And I'll give you an example. Every single department within our organization has an AI policy. They're all different. Because what works in our creative department doesn't work in our business office. And so what has happened in the last 14 months, we went from 120 people down to 81 people. So we lost 39 people. Yeah. And our business, our total revenues have increased by 25%.
Right. You can do a lot more with less.
Yeah.
So our profitability, 2025 was our second biggest year in 39 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you went down 40 employees.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And the number one expense is payroll and health insurance. Yeah. And so with that being eradicated, it really has done wonders. But it's scary.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't like, from the human perspective, to have lost people.
Yeah.
It really bugs me, but it was the right thing for the business to do.
Right.
So we talked to a lot of people about AI, and it is interesting. You guys having policies for each department is ahead of the curve, I would say. And how did you guys dive into that?
Well, what's good for our creative team? So when we're pitching a new piece of business, they may use AI for what we call thought starters, but they don't take that idea to the pitch. Yeah. That just gets them started because who owns the assets?
Right.
Does Dixon Schwabel?
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's not been tried in court. Yes.
For them. Yeah.
For my business office, our CFO can write contracts through AI, right?
Yeah.
And save
way quicker
thousands of dollars in legal fees, right? Do we put it out there? No, we allow our attorney to take a peek at it, but it no longer costs thousands. It costs hundreds. Yeah. So there's a huge savings, huge savings. So every single department is just so different. But we had to put the guardrails because a lot of liberties could have been taken.
I didn't even think of that in your world too.
Oh,
there'll probably be court cases down the road.
Oh, I'm sure. I just don't want to be the first one.
Oh my goodness.
But I think that's a good way to use it. It gets everything going, and then you have to put your own stamp on it.
Right.
But half the battle sometimes is getting it going.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly. Awesome. Wonderful. Well, Lauren, thank you so much for joining us on the Wilmac Wire today. For our listeners, you can connect with Lauren on LinkedIn under Lauren Dixon. That's Dixon. And then you can learn more about Dixon Schwabel at dixonschwabel.com. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Lauren. That was awesome.
Thank you for listening to the Wilmac Wire. If you liked today's conversation, make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts or watch full episodes on our YouTube channel. You can also learn more about Wilmac Technologies and our work in customer interaction technology at wilmactech.com. We'll be back soon with more conversations with the drivers, those shaping our industry and those building right here in Western New York. See you next time.